Hello, Brian Hawkins here, Next Step Survival, and today I'm going to show you how I put 8 different charging packs together using these power banks, some of the things I used and why. Let's get to it. To the charging kit layout, I failed to show you a couple of things on there. This is an intro, so I've already recorded the main part of the video. And I just want to cover a couple of things when you're choosing a power bank. So these are they're both Anchor, they're both 10,000 mega amp hours. And I label one of my devices what it is and then in and out. So this one here, this particular power bank, is 12 watts. See that? I don't know if you can see those arrows, but it's got little tiny arrows in and out, and then 18 watts in and out. That's for the USB-A and USB-C. So this can charge the power bank with either or charge your devices with either. This one, which looks very similar to the same size, both Anchor, both 10,000 mega amp hours. But this one is input only for both of these ports for the micro USB and USB-C. The only way to charge a device with this particular power bank is the USB-A. So 12 watts going out, and then I can only use one at a time. So I labeled that and only charge the power bank using one or the other. You can't use them both at the same time. So there's some limitations on a lot of these. Also, pay attention to whether you can charge a device at the same time as you're charging your power bank. Some will allow you not to, and some won't. A couple of other things on the accessory packs. I mentioned where I have on several of mine where I have these little memory sticks with the USB-A, which can connect directly into my phone. Also, this gizmo here, it requires an adapter to turn it into a C port. It has a place for a micro SD card in there. So you take a little micro SD. You can slide that into the first little slot. And now you can insert this your phone using one of these adapters. Now you have access to whatever's on the micro SD card. Your phone, I had to play around with 2 of my phones, and one of my phone I can't even get it to work. So it's not foolproof, and it's something that you want to test before you start relying on it. I already mentioned the data blockers. I just ordered some more of those, because when I was doing the video, I realized that I was running short on a couple of the charging kits. And I think I covered most of it. If you have any ideas or suggestions on what can be added to a charging kit, I'm not looking for any type of solar capability or anything like that. I have a pretty decent charging station here at the house. In fact, it's right to my left here, connected to the household power, which it is, a generator or solar panels outside. I think I have that covered pretty well for inside the house, but this mobile power, that may be something I look into later, but not really right now. It is something that you may want to consider. All right, let's do it.
8 different charging kits. 7 of them are laid out on the table for you. The 8th one is my wife's car, and she's not here at the moment. And I'll just give a quick overview. This first row is for my laptop, and I just keep that in my laptop bag. The second row is for my wife's bug out bag. The third row is my bug out bag. The fourth row is our blackout charging kit, and that just stays in our blackout kit. If the power goes out, I can just grab the blackout charging kit without digging in our packs or cars. The fifth row is my EDC charging kit, and I showed that in previous video when I went over my EDC pack loadout. This is Brian Car 1, Brian Car 2, and like I mentioned, my wife's got hers in her car right now. We have 3 vehicles, but we don't buy new, so they're just used vehicles, so we need a backup. This is just a spare power bank. As I upgraded these over the years, I've given most of them to kids and grandkids, and this is one I held back. It actually works really well, even though it's cheap. It's a 20,000 amp hour solar charger, which the solar function on this is garbage. I wouldn't recommend that to anyone, but as a power bank, it does reasonably well. Grandkids are here. I just grab this and let them use this. These 2 are just power banks that I bought on Black Friday for grandkids as Christmas present. When it's all laid out like this, you can see the diversity in each kit. So I've designed each kit with a specific need and devices that they're designed for. And I also upgraded over the years and took advantage of sales. The power banks all have different capabilities. So this is probably the only power bank that I have that I haven't upgraded to Anchor yet. other than the spare ones. This is a 30,000 mega amp hour, 3-device, 45 watt total. I can get 45 watts out of that C port, and that will charge and operate my laptop without any issue. And it's very big and bulky and heavy, and it's probably not a good option for a bug out bag or an EDC pack or anything like that. But for the laptop, to sit in a cafe or something and run your laptop, it seems to work real well. The same with the wall charger, and a lesser degree to the 12 volt. They both will charge at 45 watts, but the 12 volt seems to charge very slow. I've upgraded most of my cables to high speed data, and that's especially important for the laptop. Most of the kits have the data blockers. So if I need to charge a device, whether it be the laptop or the cell phones, using a public outlet that just protects your data and protects your phone. All the kits have different adapters for various devices. For devices we use is mainly the USB-C, but we do sometimes use the USB-A and a couple of small items with the micro USB. And I found these this year on Amazon, these cheap little kits here. So that since we're using mainly USB-C, this is C to everything. C to iPhone or Lightning, I guess you guys call it. C to C, C to micro, and C to USB-A. It's got a place for micro SD cards, and it's for SIM cards if you need those. This is just another version of those that went on sale, and I thought I'd try it. This one has a cheap little stand on it. It's basically the same setup. Just another little option. 3 of my kits have these little thumb drives. They have our important documents encrypted on them. Eventually I'd like to upgrade these, but for the moment that's what I have. 1 in each of our bug out bags, and then 1 for my EDC pack. 3 of our charging kits have spare phones. 2 of them have service. So the EDC, which I showed in the previous video, has an activated phone and an activated phone for my bug out bag. And this is a Wi-Fi only. It's just an old phone that I just kept, and it operates Wi-Fi only. Like I said, it took years to build these charging kits. Don't let that intimidate you if you're not there yet. And honestly, it's probably not necessary for most people. It's not even necessary. It's just overkill. But that's just what I do. I get carried away. So I started out with something like this. Cheap little power bank and a cable and a baggie. That's it. This is a charging kit. It gets the job done. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend that everybody go this in depth on building a charging kit unless you're in advanced stages of prepping and you've got your food and your water and your shelter and your security and all of that type of stuff taken care of. You can start out with, and this is old, I would probably go with one of those. You probably grab a decent power bank for $20, get a decent cable for your device. Then eventually you can just add a better cable or a second cable, better wall charger, upgrade to a better 12-volt adapter or a car adapter. Maybe add in something like this, cheap little adapter for different devices. Now your baggie's getting a little full, so you just put it in a bag or a pack of some sort. And as long as it's with you, you've got a charging kit. You don't have to have one in every vehicle, every pack, if you've got one at your disposal wherever you're at. This is all just convenient. I think I've covered everything there. It looks complicated. At a glance, it's very simple. Be able to charge your devices for an emergency or while you're on the go. Just mobile power is all it is. Just a mobile charging option for you. All right, Brian Hawkins, Next Step Survival, out.
All right, before we get started on before we get to the main entree of the video. All right, so before we get to the main part, before we get to charging kit layout. All right, before we get to the charging kit, I'm going to show you how I put 9, I believe 9. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8.